Thank you, Melissa.
How about now? Can you hear it?
Absolutely, I can hear you. But thank you so much for taking me out of the webinar style. I was like, oh no, I got to raise my hand.
Oh no, you're good.
I was feeling restricted. So I do have some pictures that I am going to send you right now.
It's too loud.
Why is it so loud?
I have no idea what's going on here. But keep talking. Who is that?
It's Bruno.
You guys don't like to hear me loud?
No, we do. It's fine.
We're loud in this room.
Go ahead and talk again.
Hello, how's it going, Thomas?
Oh, perfect.
Better.
Is that better?
Yeah, that's
My voice has never sounded so good.
Oh, that's Bruno. Okay, great.
Thank you for the compliment.
I was just telling the ladies how every time we do this, it's like, I don't know, I'm up to bat and I don't know if I'm going to be hitting a slider, a curve ball, is a fastball coming down the pipe. I think today we got a fastball and we're going to knock it out of the park. So
Nice. Well, as long as you're not getting hit with the ball, that's all that matters.
that's what I'm talking about. Okay, so everybody good?
We're good. Thank you
Okay,
so
cool.
much.
Okay.
Alrighty.
So I am forwarding you pictures, Melissa. I was hoping to get a chance during the meeting to just kind of give an update on the fish sculptures. And I do have somebody coming to my house to finalize my battery backup that I installed. So I don't know when I need to step away. He sounded to me like he would be here at about 2:15. I'm hoping I can slide out and just slide right back into the meeting.
Okay.
Or else you have my pictures if you just want to show them, to show at least what the metal one looks like. I didn't get any other pictures. It looks pretty awesome though.
Did you sent them though, huh?
I sent them.
Okay, let's see. It might take a second though.
Yeah.
And Tina sent out the events calendar, which is pretty blank for this week. So, I mean, this year. Oh, there we go. Now we've got people.
I never got Tina's email.
I sent it to your personal one, not your.
Why would you do that?
I don't know.
Who
But let
checks
me
their
repost.
personal who checks their personal email?
I figured you would.
No.
Hold on, I'll send it right now.
I got it. Don't waste your time. I
Okay.
just have to give you a hard time.
I always.
That's right.
Okay, so we've got Chelsea and David. We are waiting for Stephanie and Joyce.
Yes.
So let's see what we've got here.
Does it have to be at 8 a.m.?
What?
The soapbox derby?
Oh,
I just put a time in there, Bruno. It says tentative.
I thought the event was tentative.
not here? You're not hearing us here?
I'm hearing you. I don't hear Tina.
Well, speak up, Tina.
I will speak up.
Speak toward the microphone, ma'am.
Can you hear me now?
There's David.
Good afternoon, David.
Hi, David.
Howdy, everyone.
So, okay.
And what about Chelsea?
Chelsea, can we do a test on your
Audio
sound?
check.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay.
I'm sorry, what?
I could get louder if you want me to, but they did call me JJ in softball for a reason. Stands for Jabberjaws. Can you guys believe that?
I cannot believe that. They already lowered my volume, and so I was told indirectly that I was too loud.
Oh my God.
There has to be one in this room.
Right? No, we took everything.
I know we cleaned house.
Okay,
Hi, Stephanie.
Hey there.
Can you write down our start time?
It is 2:02.
So it looks like we have a quorum present now, so we can go ahead and start the meeting. I would recommend that we start with,
We have no chair.
right. So that is the first thing of business.
How does that go? Do we get to nominate, or does it just automatically go to someone on the city council?
It's a nomination and a second with a majority vote. So from within the members, you would need to nominate and second a chair and vice chair for this year.
Well, I would like to nominate David Claffey.
Second. Oh, I'm not a member. Sorry.
Thank you.
Chelsea, second.
Second. I had to see if I was a member. So I second.
Nice.
Not used to getting to vote. I usually just do the secretary stuff. Well, they still listen to me, but you know.
And we also need a vice chair. So I would recommend that there's a motion and a second on the floor. You can choose to vote now, or you can also add to that motion and second for a vice chair.
To do it right now, I'm fine with doing it now. As long as everyone. I motion.
There's a motion and a second to nominate Councilmember Claffey as chair for the 2021 Year of the Marketing Committee. So I can call for the vote if that's okay. It's just an all in favor.
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, any opposed? None. Motion passes. There you go.
Thank you, everyone.
Councilmember Claffey, Chair Claffey. So now we would need a vice chair.
Stephanie, are you interested?
Sure.
I'd like to nominate.
I never thought about it, but because I guess I just assumed that it was two members of the council, or the
Well,
meeting.
I think last year we punished Joyce for not being here during this vote, and I think she is not here again. I think it's strategic now, so no, I'm kidding. No, I think you'd be a great.
Well, I'm willing if that's with the pleasure of everyone.
Okay, should I motion or? I motion for Stephanie to be vice chair.
Oh.
Then I'll second.
We'll
Thank you.
get this down, guys.
Okay. So we need a vote. Chair Claffey.
Oh, yeah, I guess I have to do this now. All right.
Yeah, so you would just call for all in favor?
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed?
There was a little hesitance on that one, Stephanie.
Oh.
All right.
All right, guys. So let's move on to number 2, discussion of 2021.
Can I ask a quick question? It's kind of related to that. I noticed at
Public
the-
comments not open, please. Please, no, just kidding.
we don't have public comment on the agenda. No, it's related.
Yes, it's right above. It's on.
Oh, we skipped it already.
We skipped it because we needed a chair real quick.
I was just curious about the public member vacant. I had never noticed that before. Is that new?
Well, that would be David. David
Yeah.
would have been. I'm answering, sorry. That
Yeah,
was David.
I had to resign, and then I took Dirk's spot.
Gotcha. Okay.
So while we're discussing that, I don't see it on the agenda, but the application process, Melissa, do you need anything from us to open that up to the public?
It is currently opened up. I sent a press release out. I notified everyone on our website, and it's currently on the council webpage. So yes, we have it. I also put it on our Facebook.
I must have missed all of those options.
Me too.
You're slacking.
Excuse me, Chair Claffey, would you like to call for a public comment before we move on to item number 2? I believe that we have a member of the public here to make a comment.
Yes, absolutely. Let's open it up to public comment.
So
Okay.
it's
Member, or not member Sabatier, sorry.
public
Mr.
member.
Sabatier.
Thank you very much. It wasn't on your agenda to discuss the fish sculptures. It's something we've been working on for quite a while. As you know, there's 4 total sculptures. 3 of them have been carved in wood. Those are still being worked on. 1 is being formed out of metal. That is being worked on as well. I spoke with Alan Flora and did a little bit of a walk with him. We think that the best options are 1 in Highland Park, 1 in Redbud Park, and then 2 in Austin Park. 1 would be in the park itself, and 1 would be on the beach side. That way, when you go onto the beach, it kind of makes sense that that's where the fish are. But those were the 4 locations that we thought would be the best. They're all going to be basically on flat ground, and so putting down maybe just a slab of concrete as a pedestal for them to sit on. And then we're waiting for the artist to let us know how they're going to make sure to keep them sturdy and not tip over or anything like that, because they are pretty tall. And then wondering if maybe Melissa can share the pictures that I just sent her. Just to show you guys the progress on the metal fish, which I'm very excited to see what the whole thing's going to look like. I believe that the metal fish should be the one in Austin Park. There's a bit of an area where 3 sidewalks meet together right around the dog park. And there's a bit of an open sand area or an open dirt area. And that I think would be the best place for the metal structure to be placed. And then the rest there's still some movement going on in Highlands Park for the upgrade. There's some movement going on with the upgrades also for the Austin Beach area. And so implementing those into that rather than giving a specific location.
Oh, nice.
But that is what the leg, the bottom of the metal sculpture looks like currently.
Very nice. Wow.
And this is Diego Harris, very well known, at least locally, but he does work throughout the United States. He does metal sculptures all over the place.
Beautiful.
So that's my update for now.
Bruno, it seems like you guys are cruising along. Is there anything you need from this group? Any other assistance?
No, mostly it was just an update. I know that I gave the sculptures a deadline of it needs to be all put up in place before Memorial Day weekend, since that's pretty much when the lake opens up, and I want people to come to the lake with a new, something new for them to see.
Bruno, excuse me for interrupting, but where was the 4th location? So Redbud, Austin, Highlands Park.
Redbud, Highlands, and then 2 in Austin, 1 on the beach.
2 in Austin. Okay.
So basically both sides of the street, Austin
Gotcha.
Beach and Austin Park.
Okay, got you.
And just to add, we have to all thank cannabis because they paid for it.
Oh, that's funny.
Okay, Melissa, is there any other public comment?
We have 1 member of the public viewing. I don't see any hand raised. If there's a member of the public that wishes to speak, please raise your hand and I can call on you. I see no hands raised, so there's no further public comment.
Wonderful, thank you. Okay, let's move on to agenda item number 2, discussion of 2021 committee goals. And I guess I can start this and feel free to chime in. I think this is kind of an open discussion here. But I put together a bit of an idea of what I would like to see with the marketing committee in 2021 and potentially beyond. And one of those things is to really grow participation. I think what makes this committee work so well is that we just have a bunch of really excited, motivated folks who get stuff done, right? And the bigger that group is, you know, sometimes that can be a bad thing, but the bigger that group is, that the more firepower we will have. So I talked a little bit with Melissa about ways to structure this, and I've kind of landed on the subcommittee format with 5 key areas. And I'm going to share my screen. I think I'm disabled right now. If I could.
Hold on, let me check.
And just to let everybody know, I let Melissa know I have somebody coming to my house, so I might disappear for a few minutes, but I do plan to come back as soon as possible.
Thank you, Alman.
Yeah.
So I put this together just to kind of get my thoughts on paper of areas where I feel like we've talked about over the last 2 years. We've had projects over the last 2 years, and I think we can coalesce around these areas. Let me just switch to presentation mode. That's not what I wanted. So, and those 5 areas are this: content, event attraction, event promotion, small business marketing, and beautification. I feel like at some point we've talked about all of these in some form or fashion. And they're just kind of these one-off projects that we come up with or someone brings to our attention. And, you know, we just get it done. There's not really a plan in place. There's not a ton of proactivity in some of these unless it's a pet project for folks. I think there's opportunities in all 5 of these areas to really do impactful things. And again, this is just sort of my initial brainstorm, and I really look to you guys to help refine this a bit. But I'll go through them real quick. But the content subcommittee, essentially, you know, I've been in a couple of a couple of meetings around the county, and really content is what drives a lot of marketing, especially on social media, whether it be written or visual, between video and photography. And right now we really, you know, I brought it up a couple of meetings ago where I'd like to have someone dedicated to that. But in thinking about how we can expand the footprint of this group, I think having a subcommittee dedicated to producing really high quality content about Clearlake and the businesses and attractions and events around here, I think is a really great way to go. And some suggested ideas, just throwing it out there: hiking trails. Obviously, trails are much more important than trails around Clearlake. And then winery and business profiles, things like that. And then we do have distribution options for this. So the Tourism Improvement District, they have a website where they are just hankering for content. If you look at their social media feeds, I would say maybe 1 out of every 8 posts actually feature Clearlake, and it might even be lower than that, because they just don't have the content for it, whether that's photos or business profiles, etc. Things like Destinations Magazine, this has always been top of mind for us, where we say, well, they don't cover us enough. I've always said, let's force them to cover us by giving them really great content that they can't pass up. And there's other areas, but I think that's one area that if we focused on, it would be really great for marketing our town, and we can use it in multiple different ways. Events. This is something that is a personal goal of mine for 2021, assuming we're not all dead by the fall because of COVID. I really want to have weekly events from Labor Day to Halloween every Saturday. And this is something that I really want to take on. And I think the way that we're going to get there is by partnering with a lot of community organizations. On the left, I have kind of a list of organizations off the top of my head that I want to get more involved with the marketing committee, and they already are to some degree, but I think we can do more. And so event attraction, that encompasses sort of my plan for the fall. But then there's also things coming up that Councilmember Kramer's working on and the city with fishing tournaments. And I think if we have a focus group dedicated towards event attraction, we can actually be a little bit more proactive in bringing festivals and races and fishing tournaments to us, and then also creating grassroots ones here, empowering potential organizers, giving them the tools they need so that, it's not such a daunting task. If we're doing 10 of these a year, we have a system down. We have a process that we can then just hand off to anyone who's potentially interested in doing something or bringing something here. Another piece of that, and to be clear, we don't have to do this meeting or next meeting. I imagine as we find the right folks to slot into these different groups, we can grow organically over time. But just think of these as topic areas for now. Next is event promotion. And I think this really focuses on how do we get the word out about the great things that are happening here. Right now, it's all very dispersed. The chamber has a mailing list. The county has a listing website. The city sometimes does press releases. And I kind of want to bring that all under one umbrella from a project management standpoint and say, all right, we have an event coming up. What are the steps that we need to take to promote this properly? And if we're doing this, how can we improve the process? So are we doing mass emails that are targeted? I know the chamber has their newsletter email, but do we need specific event focused emails? Social media, aside from the city and the chamber putting a post up, do we actually have a social media campaign that generates interest in these events? And then coordinating with all the listing sites, right? So like downtown Clearlake is an example, but when we have an event, what other websites should a potential organizer be reaching out to? The Bloom, the county site, the different newspapers. How can we maximize the channels that we have? And I don't think we're really thinking about that. I think we're doing what we have the manpower to do right now, but I think there's an opportunity to be a little bit more creative. I'm going to skip small business for a second, hop down to beautification. I think we're doing a lot of this. I think this falls into arts installations, murals, the storefront improvement projects. Supervisor Sabatier and I are talking about light post banners. We've made a lot of great progress with that. In lining Lakeshore Drive with flags and banners. We had talked about this for a while. We're working with Chief Cepeda's wife to get the equipment that they used for the seniors back under our control so that we can start putting stuff up. I see Chelsea grabbed a big box, so I hope that's something similar. So this would just be a group that's really focused on beautification efforts. I think we're already doing a lot of great things here. I think there's an opportunity to do more. And I think if we can find groups like CC4C and other folks who are interested specifically in this, it's a really good topic area to coalesce around. And then probably the last thing that we would add to all of this would be small business marketing. I know that this is something that the chamber is somewhat involved with, but I think there's, if you had some grassroots support, I think you could do more with. We had talked about review solicitation and promotion. A lot of our city businesses don't have really great websites, right? So that you can either order online or browse an inventory. I'm creating a website right now for one of our local businesses, and they've had nothing. And I think we can bring in the folks who are interested in marketing and interested in web design and put them to work here. And then things like the business and tourism map would fall into this as well. So those are my big buckets. For me, the event part of it is something that is a pet project for me that I'm really motivated on, and that's a goal for me in 2021. But I wanted to throw that out there as kind of a structure and see what you guys thought.
I think it's awesome, David. I mean, just wow. You've done a great job.
Very much approve. It's a lot similar to what my sports small business teacher had showed us, and he'd done a lot of teaching down in Bakersfield and all over the place. So it's a great place for us to definitely get more organized instead of us sort of going from one channel to the next. And then we'll just be able, like you said, have the projects prepared, and then everything will go faster. So fishing tournaments go like this, 1 through 5. And then, if we do like farmers markets, it'd be like 1 through 7, you know, so just letting everyone stay in touch, whoever takes over.
Bruno and Valerie, or Bruno, go ahead.
I'm looking at it and I don't disagree with anything that you have on there. I'm just, and I get it that these are subcommittees, but like the content subcommittee, I know that you and I are now also on the PEG board. And I think that's a really good place where I think it's just a relationship between the PEG board and other groups such as the marketing committee, that the PEG board itself should be in charge of driving content. I know that you're talking more than just televised content. You're talking about articles and other things like that. But I think that we can utilize and push certain groups to do more. The small business marketing subcommittee, I don't know that it's our job to market the businesses themselves versus them doing it well on their end, which should be going through the chamber. The chamber should really be the small business marketing group, but should work hand in hand with the marketing committee for the city of Clearlake. Because I think that this is a lot to take a bite out of as a marketing committee and trying to coordinate all these things. I think the beautification, I think the event, and please don't take this in any negative way. I think that this is where we want to be in the long run. It's how do you get there? And I think that taking it little by little, we've done a great job in the beautification. We've done multiple photo contests, which have brought us many beautiful pictures that we're spreading everywhere in Clearlake. We've done some great mural works, from the kids doing their animal wildlife murals all the way to getting some professionals to do murals for us. We're hoping to get that $100,000 grant that we will match in order to get more art stuff. So we're doing great on the beautification, and I think we just keep it going, right? The event process, I think we've been slowly moving things forward. I think it's a difficult one to tackle this year, because when are we going to really start doing events? I'd love to see weekly events, but it's one of those things where I don't know how much energy we want to put into this year versus maybe preparing the foundation for it. And that, because let's just say we want to do concerts in the park this summer, we can work hard to get it, but are we going to have concerts in the park? What I see is, I think there's something in here that is missing, that I think marketing, sometimes we get swayed from what marketing can mean. And I think that what Clearlake needs the most is investors. And how do we market ourselves to get investors to come here? And that's my question of where does that fit? Because I think that's what we miss the most. For instance, I'm going through all the paper parcels right now in the city of Clearlake, which is a whole lot of properties and a whole lot of nerdy data to go through, but it's awesome. I love it. And what I'm seeing is about 90% of our properties that are paper parcels are owned by people that live outside of the county. How do we reach out to those people to let them know your property could be valued at this much if you did this to it? Or here's what's happening in Clearlake that might take interest to bring you to start doing stuff on your property versus not even knowing you own a piece of property in the city of Clearlake. Let them know what our road plan is. Let them know what the increase in the real estate market is. How do we market to people who want then to take their dollars and invest it back here? That's one thing I think we've been really failing at, is to get people who actually have ownership of stuff here to really take interest, to take part in what we're doing. What I see right here is us doing everything instead of trying to get the people who are here to do things for us. And it's got to be a balance. And so, again, I'm not trying to be negative in what you're offering. I think it's a whole lot to offer all at once. I love where it goes, and I think we need to reach there. It's more of a question of what is a priority versus not a priority in order to help us get to that next step where we can get to this this part. So
Right.
I don't know. I said a lot, and I didn't say anything at all at the same
You
time,
said a lot.
but just wanted to. That's my feeling when I see it. I love it. I want us to get there, but I think it's too much for us at this moment. So what's the priority out of those 6 things? Let's look at half of that, and maybe even less than half of it. Let's look at 2 of those things. I don't know.
No, I think you're absolutely right, and maybe I didn't articulate this well. This is the vision. This is the end goal. This is not going to happen overnight. And
Oh, I need to walk away. I'll be back.
okay, Chelsea, go ahead.
I just wanted to interject. So I agree with what Bruno's been saying. I've been noticing quite a few people who have properties up here, especially because I've been working with Jan Breska at the City of Clearlake Code Enforcement. Excuse me. So if anyone who doesn't know her, the city was sending out a lot of letters letting everyone know they need to clean their properties up during fire season. And so I've been getting a lot of calls from people, especially out of state, lots of people up in Canada too. So it's just things where people either got the property through family or they invested years ago. And so the one thing I've noticed about a disconnect is a lot of people who got these properties are still very upset about how they can't develop, or that they were told back in the 80s or the 50s or whenever they got it that they could do something, and their whole family's still been waiting. So that's one of the biggest things I've heard about that. And Jan and I will be talking to city council in general about stuff that we've noticed that's been very hard on the people, especially because we're also in a pandemic. There's been a high turnover of people wanting to get rid of their land, especially because they can't come up here and put something on that land, which in turn will be another investment for someone else. But another high influx that I've seen are people moving from Sonoma County, which we already knew from the fires in 2017. But it's been getting even higher. I get anywhere from 3 to 4 people calling me a week just from there. And then San Jose, I constantly have people coming in and calling, and I asked quite a few people, and they said there's a billboard somewhere down there suggesting to come to Lake County. So I don't know if that was the Lake County Chamber or the County of Lake, or I know that wasn't us, but I've been trying to ask the San Jose Chamber if they know anything about it, and of course they don't know, but that's what I've noticed. And I was wondering why we had such a big influx of San Jose people. And then they said, I had 3 people tell me that they saw a billboard, and it was like within 1 month, all different times. So that's just my little tidbit on that. I have seen a lot of people moving here, and I've already been telling them about things going on or suggesting what happens. I send quite a few, I call them like welcome packets. I did the same when I worked in hotels, where you give them everything they need to know about the area. And I also make sure I talk to them for a few minutes to get to know them individually, so they feel comfortable with me. And then when they come up here, they've already talked to me. I've already highlighted stuff for them. So just little things like that, it's just the little moments I've learned, then they find what they want. But we've already been sort of moving in that direction, especially because the small businesses, especially in downtown Clear Lake, I've noticed it a lot in the last 5 or 6 months. They're calling me now. Before I go in, and they'd be empty with everything, no Lake County destination, and now they all have their maps. If they don't, I still check in. But more people calling and saying, hey, I'm out of this and that, can you bring me some more? Or, just stuff like that. So I think we've definitely worked towards combining the small business and with the community. And other parts too, I make sure I let everyone that calls me, like if they're where are they coming from? That was the biggest thing I learned about concierge or like CTA stuff. It's always good to know, where are they coming from? Where are they going to after they leave our county? That's the most important thing I've learned, is not only should we take care of our counties, but if they're going to go through Napa County and then go to Vallejo or go, somewhere else down in the city, they're going to need a stop here or there. Some people don't just blow right through. And so I give them a few lists of things, whatever county they're going to go through. Even if they're going out to Fort Bragg, they may stop at the Blue Wing Saloon, and they'll get more suggestions there, which is another connect. They hear, oh, Glass Beach. Oh yeah, Glass Beach. I saw that, then I should go there. So it's helping the next county also. But I've already seen this big change for sure. I do agree about focusing more on certain events like fishing tournaments. That's a given. That's monthly, so I think as long as we make sure everyone's a little more connected on that, I know we each have our own individual little, I guess you could call them groups, but connects, I guess. Like I do a Best Bass tournament with Randy Pringle, or New Gens comes in. But there's reasons that they've been in other parts of the county, and I'm hearing a lot more people wanting to come over here to Clearlake because we've been cleaner, I've been told, and we're more organized. So, you know, but they're changing up there in the north too. Everyone's learning from what they need to learn from. But when we got the FLW down here, I know it was great that Bruno got to pick it up, and you know, they were shocked. They're almost like, should we cancel? I don't know if we can do it because Canocte shut down. And right away they called, they moved everything to Clear Lake. So just stuff like that, it proves that our whole county's still taking care of it. But that's just my little tidbit on that. I definitely think we should definitely focus on fishing tournaments. And then of course, any little holiday things, like even Easter. Are we gonna do an Easter egg hunt? Is the church gonna do it? I know it didn't happen last year, but can we do something small at Highlands Park? Just something like that where we can think about it, things where we still have to adjust to the pandemic. So I think fishing and holiday events are important. I'm getting calls constantly too, by the way, about is the fair gonna happen? What's going on with the Pear Festival? You know, people are already wondering, and I just said, we're getting all of this collaborated. We will be more with the community, and we're going month by month is how I've been saying it to people. Like, we're planning on these things, but we will see, just like last year, but this time we have more behind us to work with. We know what we're looking at because we already went through last year. So that's it. Now I'm done.
Stephanie, did you have something?
Oh, well, I was just going to say that, well, first off, I love what you've put together. And I do agree with Bruno that, you know, there's things that have to happen first. But I have to say, thank you for what you did. I mean, for your creation of the downtown Clear Lake. I mean, that is just absolutely beautiful. And the very fact that it is everywhere. And the fact that Chelsea has the, when people do come into the chamber office, that not only do they see that, but they see places like out on the coast, other places to go. So that really is a huge boom, in my opinion. And I think that we're slowly but surely making progress and making the city of Clear Lake better than it used to be when I grew up here, Summers.
Yeah, and one more thing I want to add real quick too, is it's something I know I'm going to connect more with David on because I messaged Alan already. I know we're trying to get the new logo out there with more of our own merchandise, you know, maybe having license plate frames and things like that, whatever we're going to choose. Just small little tidbits like that definitely make it the little areas. Even when I just went out to Timber Cove this weekend with for my husband's birthday. When I went out there, I thought, wow, this is amazing because the place out there is getting remodeled, and that has not been remodeled in, I don't know, the 80s probably. And so they not only were able to promote themselves a little bit here or there, but they still had like old t-shirts and new t-shirts, and it's very small. It's one of those places that it's a bloop, Timber Cove or Fort Ross. But even places out there, they got the shirts, they got the caps, they got the magnets. So even if we could just have something like that in a few areas, I know we have Foods has some stuff and a few of the gas stations do, but David, you and I will connect more, you know, in the next month on that because I want to do chamber and downtown Clear Lake stuff and make a special.
Melissa, I
Here's
saw,
Blackie. I'm
yeah, I
sorry.
saw a hand raised and earlier.
Yeah, we have a hand raised. So let me go ahead and allow Christina Nelson to talk. Go ahead, Christina.
Can you hear me?
Oh, yes, we can hear you.
Oh, okay. So I just wanted to comment on, you know, the outline that David did, and I think it's great to identify all of these subcommittees, even if, you know, they're not up and active right now. I think that really helps to break down what needs to be done and identify different categories that people who have interest in each of these categories can volunteer for. So I think it helps to, you know, allow people who want to volunteer to not be overwhelmed and say, you know, I'm interested in this very specific thing. And if it's identified as a subcommittee, even if it's part of a bigger committee until there's a chair, I think it really does help to, you know, make it more accessible and less overwhelming for people. So the more it can be defined, the better, I think. That's my comment.
Thank you. And Christina, I don't know if anyone else has met Christina. Christina is very interested in joining us, and I'm sure she'll be applying through the process, but she's been very involved with the Highland Park project as well. Just has a lot she'd like to share, and hopefully in the next couple of meetings we can have you more involved, Christina.
I look forward to it.
Excellent. Okay, so I don't necessarily know if we've come away with specific goals yet, because I feel like this framework seems a bit daunting, and I want to make it clear that this isn't something that we have to accomplish right away. It's just topic areas where I think we should focus if we want to include investment opportunities as well. Is that something that falls into content? Or is that something that falls into its very own bucket? I think that's something we have to talk about. I'm open on how to move forward here. Does anyone have any tangible goals beyond what I've presented here that they would like to see this year?
I have a piece of advice.
Mm-hmm.
So we already do event promotion and event attraction to a certain point. I think that your point is that we can do better and we should do more. And I don't disagree with that, but we already do that. Beautification, we already do that. I think that maybe just looking at what can we add to what we're already doing, and maybe the content subcommittee is what we can add to what we're already doing, because it's important to have that content to be able to really advertise well. You can't always use the same pictures, can't always use the same thing, or else it gets obvious that you're just repeating, and it gets really boring and then nobody pays attention. And so maybe adding that as a goal of creating more content, and maybe redoing some of the things we've done in the past, like bringing back the photo contest and creating more things like that. That way we get the community involved in the creation of more content, and it's not just the committee itself creating more content. That's what I would suggest. And in a way, I think that we should look at data. What did we do last year? And how can we do better this year? What was our beautification success stories from last year? How can we do more this year? How many events did we have last year? How can we do more this year? Granted, it's kind of an anomaly with the whole COVID-19, so maybe not a good comparison. But I think that
would be a good comparison for that, because, you know, we did up and down all over the place kind of fishing tournaments. But I think this year, David, even under like fishing tournaments, for like attractions or promotions, I think no matter what, because we are the bass capital of America, as I like to say, which I still want to check, because, you know, we've got Michigan and we have Minnesota. But anyhow, with that, we need to add like kids. Is there a way that we can do a few little peer things for the kids or something? That's still social distancing. That's a big thing we were talking about last year, especially with a few tournament holders, even with Berryessa bass tournaments, they're wanting to talk about it. And it's crazy. There's even moments where I'm having them ask, like, can you guys come over and help me with this? And I'm like, well, you're not in Lake County. I can ask my committee if we can come over and promote ourselves in your county, but I don't know how your county will feel about that. But I think that's super important, is definitely the fishing tournaments, or like I was saying again earlier, all of the little events. At the end, the kids love doing the letters to Santa Claus. We didn't have a ton of them, but just like promoting that sooner. Or always the big things like coloring contests, like for the Easter egg hunt, biggest thing we ever had. You go to the pharmacy, or there's like 4 or 5 different areas. It's a page with a bunny or a big color thing on it. You have 3 or 4 different age categories. They turn it in by a certain day or the day of the contest, whichever, and we have people vote or whatever we decide. And then we have companies give us baskets, like Grocery Outlet or food. So I had mentioned that to Stephanie, but I don't know what you guys think. I think little things like that, even for every holiday, like come color a little leprechaun, and then April Fool's gesture, just little, or a spring flower, just every month. If we could do something fun, especially because of this pandemic, I think that's the one little way. So I know we had the photo contest, but even if you have something small like that, we always have that in the small town. That even now you can go to they call it the El Molino Pharmacy, but it's the Forestville Pharmacy, and they do that every year for every holiday, even with this pandemic.
So if I may suggest, in what you just said there, kind of touched on a bunch of different areas.
Yeah.
There's no real focus, right? It's just as things pop up, as ideas come top of mind, we introduce it, and we may do it, we may not do it, we may do it for 1 year, it may drop off.
Right.
I strongly suggest that we find a way to stop doing that. I think it's not really productive. Some projects do get done, and it's more of a force of will, but we're not focused on what the outcome is and what resources we need to make it sustainable. Right. If we feel like an Easter contest is something that the community would really enjoy, how do we do that in a sustainable, repeatable way, as long as that interest maintains? I would suggest this, and really, there's no way that the 5 of us are going to, or 6 of us with Bruno, are going to be able to accomplish all these things. Really, the power of this is through coordination with other organizations and other motivated folks. And I think for our first goal, let's see what talent is out there. Let's see what talent is interested. Marketing, I feel, is one of the easiest access points for anyone who wants to get involved with their community, because quite frankly, it's fun. People enjoy engaging in some of these activities. So let's use this application period as a time to see what interest is out there, so that if we have a writer who wants to get involved, if we have someone who loves fishing who wants to get involved, that can help shape our priorities a bit. So I would say that would be our first step as a group, is let's just really promote this application period. Let's get a lot of folks in. And even if we don't name them to the marketing committee itself, let's get them in the pipeline and activated and engaged, so that they can contribute in a way that they really want to.
I have a quick suggestion too, David.
Yep.
What if we start like an email between us, and then when we have people we find, then at least we can add it, or then, so we don't like, I doubt we'll overlap, but what do you guys think about that? Or we could just send David information so he can update it.
I think we have to be a little bit careful because of the Brown Act.
Yeah. I would think sending it to me would be ideal.
Okay. Sounds good. Just seeing how we can keep in touch and not it be all over the place. So
yeah, I think
not that we are. There's not many of us, but
let's send folks to Melissa or through the application process, and then we can. And if you have a personal connection, engage with them. Get them to come next meeting. Find out what they're interested in. If it falls into one of these 5 categories, or the potential investment bucket that we're going to add, let's gauge their interest.
Perfect. I know a few already, so we're good.
Wonderful. Anyone else?
We do have a hand raised from the public. Christina raised her hand. Would you take public comment at this time, Chair Gothy?
Yes, please. Christina, go ahead.
So you can unmute yourself, Christina.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, sorry. I love what Chelsea was talking about with the various contests for kids, which obviously can apply to various holidays. So I'm thinking under event attractions, maybe there's a whole nother category that is kind of like COVID era things that, you know, obviously as COVID goes away, hopefully soon, we can evolve into, you know, in-person things, but maybe we need to come up with short-term ideas that are specifically able to be done during COVID. And I think that holiday contest type stuff would be perfect for that. Also, I would love to help with that. So that was my thought.
We will connect for sure. But even if events slow down, I feel like just doing, and we don't have to do it every year, but just doing like a color in Santa Claus and his reindeer kind of thing, that could be something simple. That could be the same printout, not every year, but then it just be between the city and Clearlake, and the kids can pick it up, and all we have to do is get whatever kind of goodies or baskets, and that's simple. I don't want to say simple. It still takes a moment to organize, but for all the events that we have, I feel like if we, like you said, if we did every holiday, that would be hard. But I mean, if we just do like 2 or 3 major ones, that would be really helpful. Or even a pumpkin, that's what they would do also. You could choose between a pumpkin or a bat for Halloween, and it's just something else. And then the top 3 to 5 in those 3 age categories get a prize or a basket. So it's just something where it also brings in the community, and I guarantee that foods and grocery outlet, and I don't know, we could probably do fishing stuff too, you know, even do a fishing coloring contest for the kids when they do the fishing tournament. Just little things like that keep the small community together. And even if we start it now, I mean, those small towns that I grew up in, they've been doing that since probably the 80s, and they don't ever stop, because all they do is have the group like we do, and they just print it out, and those 2-3 locations have it done. One person gets all the gifts. But that's up to you guys. Like you said, I feel like if we do every holiday would be extreme. Maybe we'll just do a few major ones to keep them sort of flowing, and then I guarantee it. Then all of a sudden they had to do a double wall for the Umalino pharmacy because the kids just take it over, and it's a small town, you know, but they all do it.
I have a question. How did the city promote the photo contest or the with the kids?
With the kids, and they did it super simple. I know they'd send out an email blast. They put it in the local gazette. They would let the schools know, which is going to be hard with the COVID thing, but I'm sure we can suggest it to them, and then they can like send an email to the teachers. Then all they had were ones that were at the elementary school office, and then there were ones at the Forestville Elementary or Forestville pharmacy. I'm trying to think. And then like the fire department, it was just very simple public areas where it's already at the counter, and they literally walk in. You don't fill anything out because you're only in a certain age category. You just write your name on the back and write your age. And so it's not like a crazy hard thing. And then they turn it in. So either you can have them turn it in the day of the contest. I've seen it go both ways too. And that's something where you can change every year. I mean, you don't have to. I'm not trying to say that, but some days they would have you bring the paper to the event. Some years they would have you turn it into the Forestville Elementary or to the pharmacy people. It just depends who was probably doing things again.
Yeah.
Well, it was mainly, that was the only little difference I saw, but it was the same locations every year, and it was pretty much the same picture. They would sometimes change it up a little bit, and that's it, you know, so.
Well, thank you, Chelsea, for that. But actually, I was asking that of the city. How did the city get all the paintings done? How did they get the word out? Was it through the schools? Does anybody know? Bruno, do you know?
Are you talking about the wildlife murals?
No, the pictures that are all around the city. You know,
Yeah, the
Yeah,
wildlife
the murals.
Yeah,
Yeah, the wildlife murals was done by Stephanie Figueroa and the, what is it called? The
Children's Arts Museum.
something house, the arts house, the, Melissa, help me out.
I don't know.
I think it's the Art House
for-
Gallery or something
Yeah,
like that.
oh, okay,
That was just
okay,
not with Stephanie.
Over
and she
by
handled all of it.
Tequilas.
Yeah, over
right,
by Tequila.
okay.
She organized it, came to the marketing committee. She worked with the schools and recruited students and then got them to do those things.
Gotcha, okay. Perfect. So we could do the same kind of a thing. So it sounds like it's going through like a gallery or an artist or whatever, and kind of that's the lead on it, and then they get the word out to the various schools. Which I think, even though the kids are not maybe in school per
They'll be
se, it could still happen, certainly.
Yeah, and even we can do it. It's just really for the general public. So even, you know, the schools and the public, it's all over the place. And then you can post it at the stores too. They had it at the end of every checkout corner or counter, but it's Spears Market, which is basically a red and white, you know, stuff like that. So, and Sebastopol does the same thing, but it's with their apple blossom parade. You know, like we should do that for our pear festival, even though we're not like in Kelseyville, that's still a Lake County thing, and try to do something fun to be like, don't forget to go to the Pear Festival, you know, things like that, but it still connects them directly to Clearlake, where we're like, go turn it into the city of Clearlake, or, you know, the Clearlake Chamber of Commerce, just things where it brings the community more together in our little location, like you want to say subdivision, but then our whole group is still together. So. And we would have it, anyone can turn it in. They don't just have to live in Clearlake. It can be that's what we do, a Russian River style anywhere. We'd have people come all the way from Kaz to do it. The kids, they would go to school in Forestville sometimes. It's the same thing here.
So is that a project you want to take on, Chelsea? Is that?
Oh, definitely. I've been telling everyone about it already. So I
Okay.
already been looking up a few different ones, but it's up to you guys. And then even for the Easter egg hunt, let me know. I can connect with Tina. I don't want to do anything huge. I didn't know if you guys were doing anything in Austin Park or what church was doing it in the past. But I think we should do something. Even if we do little groupings, you have 15 to 20 eggs in this little area, you do it. Or if we're able to let them spread out, whatever we're able to do COVID wise with what Dr. Pace has to say as we get closer. But that's my suggestion. We're already outside. They'll turn in their picture. We'll announce the top winners. They take their basket, they go home.
All right. If you want to start laying the groundwork for that, let us know what you need in terms of resources, and then we can discuss that in the next meeting. Let's it looks like we're in item 3 here. We kind of shifted over to 2021 events and started talking about that. Tina, you shared a calendar with us. Did you want to talk through that a bit?
Yes. Can everybody hear me?
Yes.
Yes,
So as of right now, we obviously don't have a whole lot on here. I did put the Soapbox Derby as a tentative for May 29th. That's Memorial Day weekend. Hopefully we are able to have some form of the Derby. I don't know how many more events we have on here. I did put the 4th of July, the Christmas parade, because hopefully we can have something for those.
You put trunk or treat.
Yeah, I put trunk or treat because I'm sure there's going to be some version of trunk or treat. So let's just keep that on there.
Yep.
And then I don't have much else at this point.
What about fishing tournament? Do we just go, and because I'm so new, I came in March, so I don't know if we connect with them or are they supposed to connect with us?
They normally connect with us.
Okay.
And as of now, I have not heard from anybody, but it's still a little early from what I remember.
Right. So maybe I should go on to the Fish and Game website and see who's supposed to be on Clearlake Lake certain weeks or weekends. And if you want, I can start calling them around for you and have them connect with me or you and I can start an email?
Yeah, that's fine. If that's what you want to do, that's fine.
I would love to do that. And then you and I can be in touch on the fishing tournament stuff. So hopefully we can get more people actually doing permits like they're supposed to. Little sneakers sometimes. We're going to watch them, huh, Tina? Can't get away from me.
And Tina, like I said, I do intend, if everything works out from the period between Labor Day and Halloween, to have some events scheduled in that time frame.
Okay.
I don't have 100% clarity on what those are going to be yet, but it's my mission. So I'll coordinate with you once I have more details.
Okay. I did pass on your information to the athletic director at the high school. Did you guys connect yet?
No, he
Okay.
hasn't gotten back to me, or she hasn't gotten back to me yet.
See. Okay. I will reach out again.
You know what? I can follow up because you CC'd me. But it's
Yeah.
probably more appropriate. But
Perfect.
Thank you. Any other event suggestions? Chelsea, it sounds like you're going to coordinate with Tina on fishing, which is great. Next meeting, if you could discuss your proposed idea for the Easter event and what we just discussed. I think we're looking to help you however we can. Just let us know what you need. Yes, Bruno.
Two things that I am going to be working on this year. We're kind of stuck in tradition, and sometimes when you kind of take a step back and you recognize that sometimes some traditions don't make any sense anymore. And I don't want to take anything away, but I want to lead by example in creating something new that might make change in all of Lake County. I want to see fireworks on December 31st. Because that is the safest time to do fireworks. I'm not saying take it away from the 4th of July. That's absolutely a tradition, but it's really dangerous as we keep progressing in a more fire hazard situation. It's not going away. It's only going to get worse as far as fires go. And so we need to figure out something. And at one point, we need to start saying our fireworks are December 31st. And so I am going to work with the Lions Club to see if I can help produce the money they would need to be able to bring in the same pyrotechnician to go ahead and do that. And I want to see it not go off from the resort, because at one point the resort's going to sell and we need to find another place to blast those fireworks from, because we can't expect whoever's going to buy it that they're just going to let us do that. And so I have a friend who owns a business in Clearlake. It's Clearlake Marina. He has a huge platform that he travels around from side to side of the lake to build docks and marinas. And it's probably, I don't know, at least 200 to 300 square feet of area that he can put in the middle of the lake and blast fireworks from. So I want to work on making that happen, because I think that is a change that we need to see. And I think that anytime that there's unorganized activities, that's where we have problems. And if we can create an organized activity for next year's celebration of 2022, I think that would be amazing. I'm also working with the local college, Woodland Community College. They are the Eagles and they are green and white. I am trying to get them to adopt St. Patrick's Day and to do a huge St. Patrick's Day event. We do not have a St. Patrick's Day event. And if there's any holidays that we all know very well about that has no celebration, all you have to do is create something and everyone will show up. It's just we have too many of those where we have holidays that pass by us. We might do something locally with our friends and family, but we don't actually do something as a community. And as soon as you create those activities, everyone will want to show up and be a part of it. Now, I don't know if that's going to happen this year. I doubt it, but at least they've said yes, that they want to adopt that holiday and create a community event to get people to really know about the college, what's available at the college. And we already do alcohol at the college all the time because of the restaurant. So that means that they're willing to do alcohol for this event as well outside of the school grounds, what's St. Patrick's Day without some kind of green alcohol? So those are the two things that I will be working on. Definitely want to continue with trunk or treat. Definitely want to can. I think that we need to get some solid events on our calendar, and then we need to look at the reverse calendar. Because too often we know exactly what we want to do, but then we're like, ooh, wait, we need to hurry up and get this Christmas parade all set up. And I think we need to have a reverse calendar for when we start our discussions and our meetings to organize these things, rather than knowing what the actual date of the event is and randomly decided to start those meetings. I think that most of the time we're pretty well organized, but I think we need to recognize that sometimes we can be at the seat that we're sitting in today and not be there the next time. And so we need something a little bit more on paper, really written out for anyone to be able to pick up and say, this is what we do.
Exactly.
I have two things I want to say. First off, I think doing fireworks on 31st is a great idea. The Russian River started doing that right before we moved, and we actually saw a huge increase. It was like a 8% increase, especially because it's winter time, so more people come up to the resorts, everything. So I think that's a great idea. The second thing is for the local college. I'm sure you've heard of it, Bruno, and probably David, or I don't know if the whole city's heard of it, but at our meeting on last Wednesday, a week ago, they mentioned that they're doing the promotion of trying to get more people, and they've got the green signs that they're trying to get all the small businesses going with. I am connected with Roz Griffins on this, so I don't know, not Griffin, sorry. So if everyone is not, or anyone hasn't heard of this, that's something I wanted to bring up real quick. I know we can add it to our committee, but I think this is something we should definitely jump on, especially because their spring courses are just about to start. Two great things that they've been promoting too, which I'm all for because I have my bachelor degree in business from Sonoma State, and I absolutely love Sonoma State's curriculum, especially because they have the whole wine spectrum now. They have a whole huge wine business section that they added right when I was graduating. But you can get your bachelor degree in business directly from Woodland online, not even really having to go in. And the second one is you can get your degree in culinary there also. So most people don't know that, and they just told me that last week, and that made me get really giddy. So I'm telling people, if this keeps going, you know, we're saying the more we can do it, the more they can add with Sonoma State. So I think it's amazing because I had to travel the first year we moved here, my last year, and it wasn't bad. I mean, some people can handle it. I could. I worked in Hidden Valley Lake to make it work. But I think that's amazing. Just think of the potential and how many more people can even just get their AA in business and then really just push to get the bachelor. Like, why not? I'm just right here. I'm just going to do it. So I think that's really going to bring our level up, especially the culinary too, because the kids are getting more into that. Napa County, Mendocino, they're all just right here. So that's going to bring more influx for them. That's something I wanted to bring up real quick. Sorry, that's it. We should bring them in, actually, whoever. Chairman Claffey, we should bring, trying to be good about this. We should bring in the dean. I apologize, I don't have his name off the top of my head because he's only been there for 6 months.
Cyrilo Cortez.
Yes, okay, Cortez. I was trying
And
to
he's
think.
local. Local boy makes good.
Yes, and he talked great about it, and so I think we should bring him in. He did a really good talk with us. He promoted his team also and let them speak openly first, and then really talked about what he wanted. I think we should really connect with him, especially like Bruno was saying. So as much as we can do to really stand behind the college, I've really seen a few changes already, especially this week. I've almost, like, all those green signs are popping up. So if we could literally have them so it just looks crazy. Go to college, go to college, go to college. Don't leave Lake County. Let's make it better here. Sorry, I'm a little excited because I am all for people just really promoting themselves. And I worked all the way through all my degree and everything. Took 6 years, 3 and 3. But I tell everyone, you can do it. Slow down. Don't let high school scare you and then say it takes 4 years, because that does not. They told my dad that, and I've only met one person and she worked her butt off. So just promoting as much as we can for our youth. I'm so excited.
Okay, Stephanie, anything pertaining to events before we close this section out? Anything to add?
No, I think we just have to take baby steps, but I think getting the word out is one of the most important things, that we are moving forward, and we are, watch for events happening. And to that point, I think we have to, like I said, we have to take baby steps in as much as where we've been. But I'm all for having something, even if it's small, as like for Easter, an Easter egg hunt. I mean, it can be easily done simply because Rotary in Lakeport used to do, and they haven't done it since, but a huge thing in the park and they broke it out by ages. And so X number of kids, this age group, got to go and do their Easter egg hunt. And so it can be a fun thing. And there's like you put out a golden egg, and that's the big winner. And anyway, so there's
like $100 in it.
It certainly could happen this year, as far as I'm concerned, even with social distancing. So that's it. I'm not going to say any more about that.
There's $100 in that egg. I'm signing up for that Easter.
Well, there
egg
you
hunt.
go.
We'll have an adult contest, but maybe we'll put little mini bottles of booze. They got those now, right?
There you go.
Little after office snack.
All right, so staff, we're going to come back with you next month on the specific events that we decided to take the lead on and give you an update on where those stand.
Great.
I think that's a good way to move forward. All right, let's hop to item number 4, discussion on creative reopening project by Chelsea.
Ooh, Melissa, do you have the link, or I could bring it up on my computer?
I don't know.
That's okay. I have it right here. I don't know
Yeah.
if I have this screen sharing thing. I've never done this before, so let's see. Oh, host.
1 second.
Yeah, I've never done this, so I don't know what it looks like. Do I have to move the thing over?
Just a moment.
We'll see. I'm sure it sets itself up.
Now you should have a button at the bottom of your screen which says share screen.
Ah.
The green button.
Oh, and then I click on me. Ooh, that's cool. Okay. All right. So this is, and I can send this to you guys if you want. So this is connected to the Russian River Chamber of Commerce. I found this actually a week after we had our last meeting, which was right or when I was going to Thanksgiving. Yeah, we didn't have a December. But so when you first start walking in, I'm going to scroll down a little bit because they did not put their pictures in order. So I apologize ahead of time. I should have been there. When you first come into the Russian River, they have this beautiful Russian River sign that they just got. And right underneath it, you can barely see it, but it says stay healthy. And that was like, oh, that's interesting. And then as you start going into, and this is where their Chamber of Commerce is, if no one knows the Russian River. And start going into their town, they have little signs and they literally just say, what was it? It was stay healthy. That's the big one. And then it says, be kind, be safe, and be smart. And so what they did is they went into all of and it's a 5-mile strip that an artist connected with the city with, or wasn't in the city, the Russian River Chamber, but we would connect with the city. And so I know we're trying to do storefronts. So if you look at this is how they're promoting their empty storefronts right now. And so what they did is they have the same picture color or setup connected to the Chamber of Commerce. So then they have a way to go directly to the chamber and say, I see that this place is open. And not only that, but it's also a suggested way for us to help people be smart during this pandemic. And we can have them do whatever little design, and we can connect with the local artists. So I just thought this would be a good idea to bring up to you all, especially because we were trying to figure out what we could do. And I think this is great. If you've ever been to the river, again, it's literally from the Hacienda area, which is Forestville, all the way to Monterey, which, like it said, that's 5 miles. And every town sign had it on there, and then all of the businesses who were available. And then there's a little picture, might be at the beginning, of those little, what are they called? QR codes?
QR codes, yep.
Yeah, and then you can just go to that and it's directly connected to what businesses are available for rent and everything, and connected to those realtors. So this artist, if you want to read the article, he did a bit of his own combo because he's lived out and had a cabin out there for 10 years. So, local artist. And he did a bit of a combination of the redwoods. That's why I see the orange bark pieces everywhere. And then also the river. So if we somehow combine something with the lake and maybe a volcano or whatever you guys want to start looking into, I think it might be another fun contest for us to bring out there for the artists. And it's a good way for us to do what we were trying to figure out. I love the idea of us trying to bring local art and doing all of that as much as we can. But not only is this bringing a local artist, but it's literally tying all the businesses together. And it's a simple decal that you just take, or a sticker decal when you look at it. It's not like one of those permanent ones. And then, so I forget, they said the actual name of it. Vinyl banners, sandwich boards, window clings, and even a specialty design mask. That's created by a San Francisco company called Open Editions, who works with artists on limited edition masks. So we don't have to go that far unless you guys want to. It could be interesting. David and I could talk about that more, especially because of the downtown Clearlake stuff. But what do you guys think about the...
Do you know how much it cost for this installation in total?
I tried talking to the Russian River Chamber, and they really don't have a lot to work with in general. They're very similar to our budget, between ours and Lake County Chamber. Of course, they didn't really give me their numbers, but they didn't say much because it's more of like a volunteer kind of thing. And they had the local companies come together and then donate the, not the artwork, but like we could have like Lamb Printings and a few other people, bring them together, and then even something simple you could say brought to you by Lamb Printing. So it's another way to promote that small business and do stuff like that.
And how far along has I know that in past meetings we were talking about storefront decorations. How far along has actual communication with those landlords come? Do we have a database of the folks you need to go to if something like this were to happen?
So I think Dirk was supposed to start looking into that list last time I saw in my notes, and that's why I sent him an email about this, and Melissa, but I haven't heard back from him. But I know he's very busy with his new roles and switching over. So I just wanted to bring it up to you guys, and I can definitely dive into it more. I just need help trying to get a hold of those landlords for sure. If anyone has a suggestion on how to get it a little quicker so we can start getting an idea. And then maybe who was it that has the connection with the Art Council? I don't have that connection. I'm sure I could get it. But putting it out to them just like we did with the fish sculptures and whatnot.
Mm. I think, isn't it the city, I think, is who would be the contact for the business owners with empty storefronts?
Right.
That would be where I think you would start.
Yeah, I think.
Is that correct?
I would imagine if you were to get a list of addresses together, perhaps Alan could help you, or someone within the city.
Allie at the front desk of the city.
I said Alan. I don't
Oh,
know.
Alan. I thought I heard you say Allie.
But I'm sure you
So
can.
I'll ask Alan, or I'll ask Dirk, and whoever is able to. If not, I'll sort of look around too. And this is a super baby project. We're just starting to look into stuff. I'll get a list of what properties we have. And then I don't know from there, does Bruno have the connection with the Art Council, or is that you, David? I think
that would be Bruno. I definitely think getting the locations you want them is the first step. So we can understand how much square footage we need to cover, and who we need to contact. I think
exactly.
That's
and I'm going to contact the Russian River Chamber more to dive into it, because I know the Sebastopol Chamber did something similar to this, but they made theirs super small because they're having a lot of issues. They've had a lot of places closed. What do you guys all think about this compared to us? Because I'd love to put like artwork and other things in there, but instead of us having to worry about that being in there, I feel like this is a great way to make sure people, and you have it connected to the realtors too. So if you look, they had the real estate company, where is she? Right here, Berkshire Hathaway, and they have it there too. So it's nice because whatever realtor it's connected to, we could have like one little window or one door or something, and it'd be nice because it's like a trail. They get the idea. I did, at least. Anyone else?
Well, I definitely think that we should proceed with something. I mean, so I think starting with seeing if you can get a hold of the business owners
Yep.
who have empty storefronts,
Mhm.
or families who, I think in some cases it's families who have inherited the property. They have no interest in it, but it would be nice if we could have something instead of just paper, something that looks good. And hence that was why
Right.
you know,
Well,
the
that's what I was
decorated
thinking.
storefronts.
Russian River was the same way. Be like, oh my gosh, those buildings have been empty for like 10 years.
Mhm.
Like those first couple ones they showed, those ones have been flooded on and off like every 3 years. It's bad right there next to the bridge. And it looks so much better now, you know, it looks
Yeah.
very classy. So when I was going into town, I looked at my husband and said, oh my gosh, we were just talking about this a week ago. Like this would be, and again, I'm not going to say simpler, but more cost efficient than us doing like, let's follow all these artists and stuff like that, which is still amazing. I would love to do something like that eventually. You know, maybe we'll have an art showcase somewhere else. So, you know, or just do an event here.
I think
But,
it's a great example of what it can be.
Yeah.
So
Mhm.
I think we just need to get the hard part done first, which is figuring out what spaces
Properties
are
and
available.
costs. Exactly. So I just wanted to bring the idea up to you guys before I really dove into it. I really think it'll be interesting to see what people come up with. Like maybe we'll have like our colors and, you know, like fish swimming across instead of waves, or, you know, some weird mountain, and just something really cool
And
that we could use for future stuff. It's not really even something that's really going to change because we could just keep doing it. And then if we want to change the color or something, just it's our own thing and just keep. So when I saw that, I was so excited. So
yeah, it's
finally
great.
fun.
And I love the different applications. It's not just windows, there's signs,
You
there's a
can
bunch of
still
different
see
things. So
through,
there's
and it's,
flexibility.
you know, and so even if when the pandemic changes or whatever's going on, instead of us constantly saying, be safe, be kind to each other, be healthy, we could change something else like enjoy the lake, fishing is life, you know, stuff like that. So just
Do you,
idea.
David, do you think it makes sense to have Chelsea get like with Lamb Printing, and maybe they can come up with an idea that would be.
So I don't think the design's the hard part. I think that's very creative, and that's something that we can riff off of. Really, I think the hard part is placement right now. And then
Mhm.
once we get over that hurdle, we have a lot more flexibility.
Okay.
So we can focus on addresses, locations. I know, you know, because of the signs, I'm happy to put it in front of my yard as well. So we could maybe even do residential. It's a nice theme that we can tie across all the different businesses. So I think that's the first step in this process. And then once we have a better idea of what's available to us, then we can hop into the design part, because that's where people are going to get really excited and contribute ideas. But I love it.
Exactly. Yeah, and
Well
I
done.
think it's still just like the baby process for sure, but I wanted to bring it up and I thought you guys would really like the idea because it's right where we were trying to figure it out. And as soon as I saw that, I'm like, and it involves a local artist and it connects everything. So we're good.
Excellent. Melissa, any public comment on this item before we close it up?
Nope.
All
Looks
right.
like we have a hand raised. So.
Am I still screen share? It says Christina, raise your hand. Am I
Yeah.
the
Yeah. Sorry, I was kind of back and forth. One of the comments that I wanted to make is I love this idea, and I've been looking at what I call the downtown stretch, which is basically from Austin Park up to Redbud. And in looking at the architecture and, you know, the different buildings, and because it's not like a true downtown, like in those pictures where there's, you know, storefront next to storefront next to storefront, we have like building and then big gaps and then building and big gaps. So in looking at this, I think the design would have to kind of almost be more in the line of signage versus window graphics. But I would love to help you with that. So I just wanted to make that comment, and as far as what the signage medium would be, but I would love to help you with that.
Very cool. And Chelsea, I'll share Christine's contact info with you.
Awesome.
All right. So we talked about a lot today. I think we added a couple of projects to the list. I'll compile all that and send it to Melissa for future agenda items. I'll try to consolidate. Chelsea, I think you took on a little too much this week, but we'll see how that all plays out. The big thing moving forward for this month is let's recruit. Let's get folks who are interested in being engaged, and I think we can all work with them, but we'll find the right niche for them. Yes, Chelsea.
Do you want to contact the dean for him to come in for a speech, or?
Let's you and I talk about that first.
Okay.
I would rather leverage his time to get him involved in either an event or an activity with us, as opposed
Okay.
to just chatting with us. Because
Got
I think we've all kind of talked with him at some point. So let's use our community connections.
Let's move past it. We're on step 2, not step 1 anymore. Got it. All right.
Awesome. All right. Well, thank you, everyone. I'm gonna. What do I say here, Melissa? This meeting's now adjourned.
Yes.
So we do still have a couple of items on the agenda. We have council member reports and future committee member reports. I just wanted to say real quick that Alan wanted us to pass on that he is working with Retail Strategies on the branding issue that you and Chelsea had brought up earlier in the meeting, and anticipates in another week or so having some additional information, which we most likely will be bringing to the next meeting.
Wonderful.
But I just wanted to pass that information on. And then at this time, if any member had any reports, it would be appropriate to take those, Chair Clappy.
I do have one quick question. Are we only to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 members, or can there be more than 5 members of the council or of the committee?
So
Our
I
marketing.
spoke with Ms. Swanson about this. We can expand. We would need to get city council approval. With the subcommittees, as I understand it, we don't need city council approval for that. And I think that's a good way to expand our footprint and get folks involved without, getting them too involved without.
Okay.
So that would be the way I'd want to approach expanding the number of voices we have.
Great idea. Let them go into the pool slowly so we don't throw everything at them.
Great.
Any other questions or reports?
Can't wait for 2021, you guys. It's going to be great. Let's bring it.
Awesome. All right. Well, thank you all so much. I think this was productive. And like I said, I'll consolidate the notes here and I'll share with you, Melissa. I know you guys have been taking notes as well, but we will have a little bit more targeted approach for our next meeting.
Awesome.
Thank you, guys. Talk to you soon.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.